Hi guys, and welcome to my next video on the Equinox 800 Minelab detector. Just thought I'd show you how I set up my machine for hunting. I know myself that I'm often looking at other people's YouTube videos and seeing how they set their machines up. It just gives you a few good ideas, things you might not have thought of before, and it just helps I think learn more about the detector. So first thing I'll do is factory reset the device. I'll just hold the power button in until it factory resets. So we're reset back to square one. Let's turn the backlight on so we can see the display better, and I'll back the sensitivity off a bit because we are inside. I don't want it beeping every few seconds, being annoying. Okay, so the first thing I usually do is with the basic settings. We'll just whip through these quickly. So ground balance I'll leave at 0. If I'm at the beach in wet sand or in highly mineralized soil, I might do a manual ground balance. But usually when I'm in parks and doing basic detecting, I might even turn on the automatic ground balance, and that's just toggled with the accept reject button when you're in ground balance menu. So I often leave that on, find that quite handy. Volume adjustment, normally I wear headphones with this detector, so I might have it on 22, 23, thereabouts. Threshold, I generally set to 4. I don't mind hearing a very, very quiet hum in the background, just so I know I'm in detect mode. And just as a good reference, some people don't like that, that's fine, back it off to 0. Some people even have it higher. I tend to leave it on 4, I just find that's a good setting to have for me. Target tones I use 5, there's options of 1, 2, 5 and 50. I just think 50 is too much, it's just too many target tones going on for me. 5's a good balance, you can hear everything quite clearly and differentiate between the high and low target IDs better. Accept reject will come back to. Recovery speed, I usually set it fairly high at about 7, maybe 6, 7 thereabouts. Just so, because I don't swing quickly, but I don't swing slowly either. Unless I'm in an old area, I might slow down and reduce this number just to get a little bit more depth out of it, but usually I'm about 7. And that's about it for the basic settings. Now if we go into advanced settings, I like to set up some more advanced settings that change the tone breaks and the tone pitch and volumes. And I picked up this this tip here from Luke Stephen at Dig It Detecting. Check out his channel, he's really good. Gives you really good information and searches some awesome old sites. I'll put his a link to his page and his YouTube channel down below. So the first thing that we do is go back into accept and reject, and then we hold the settings button in for a couple of seconds to get into the advanced part of this setup. So what we're going to do here is set up 5 different tone breaks. The first one goes from from -9. I like to go up to 5. I think Luke goes to 0. I go a little bit further up to 5, and that's fine. You can mess around with these settings however you like, just to set it up how you want. Press the accept reject button to advance to the second tone break. I go from 6 to 14 of this one, and that's just the sort of lower mid-range targets. Then the next tier, generally here I go from 15 to 20, which is already set that way. It's set to end at 20, which is what I wanted. Tier 4 though, I'll come right down to 23, and this is more to make the $1 and $2 coins pop. You'll hear with the changes in the settings how much easier it is to hear them in amongst the other signals when you set it this way. And by default, T5 for the last section here will be 24 to 40. So pretty much done there. We'll jump out of that setting. Then the next step will be to go to target tone. hold the setting button in for a couple of seconds, and again we've got 5. You can see our target sections here now have changed, or if you'd gone in there earlier you would have seen these markers at different locations, but since we've changed it now, we've got 5 new tone breaks there. So what we're going to do next is change the tones for each tone break. So 1 is the lowest, and if I press the plus button and hold it, you can hear the tones increasing and decreasing. So this lowest tone break I want to set to 1, which is the lowest tone, which indicates generally iron and metals, unwanted metals. Advancing up to the second area here, I'm going to set that to 5. Then next, the third tier, I'm going to set that one to 10. So the tones are increasing as we go along. The fourth tier, I'm going to set that one to 20, which is a nice pop, nice, really clear sound. You can't really mistake it when you go over a $1 or $2 coin. It really stands out. And then the fifth segment here, I'm going to leave at 25. So that's our target tones done. And then the final step here with this particular area is the volume adjustment. So what we're going to do here, just hold this for a couple of seconds. And what we're going to do here, we've got our 5 sections again, but we're going to change the volume in each section. So the more, the less interesting targets, we want those to be a bit quieter. The more likely good targets, we want those to be louder. So section 1, we're going to decrease the volume to 5. Section 2, we'll make that 15. Section 3 also 15, so they're not as loud. The fourth section, we're going to have that at 25, which is quite loud, and again that'll help the $1 and $2 coins stand out. And then the high targets, we're going to just back down to 20. It's still loud enough, but it's not as loud as the $1 and $2 coins. I'll just come out of there. Now one of the last things we want to do is go across to recovery speed, hold the button in for a couple of seconds and go to our iron bias settings. Now iron bias is a setting that you will want to change if you're in a site that's got a lot of rusty objects in the ground. The higher this setting is, the more likely the detector is going to be to favour an iron object if it's not sure what it is. So if it's a questionable target and you've got this setting high, it's going to probably sound like iron. If there's a coin or something next to a nail, that's probably going to sound like iron and you're probably going to miss it. If you're in an old site and there's a good chance that there are coins in amongst nails and old rusty bits, then I'd probably drop that right down to 0 or 1, something like that, and then you've got a much better chance of hearing a good target when it's right next to an iron target. There's a second iron bias setting here as well, which you can toggle with the accept reject, which is called F2. That came in version 2 of the software, and it's a much more sensitive version of the iron bias FE setting. It's got a much larger range as well. So think of FE, the FE range, iron bias range, is a subset of F2. So F2 is a much wider range of iron bias, and you can also change your settings here, and you've got a lot more control over those iron bias settings. If you're on F2 here, then F2 is what's being applied. If you come out of this menu and you leave F2 setting that way, that's what it'll use. If you're switching back to FE and you've got that set, when you come out, that will be the setting that's applied. It's not using both at the same time, it's only using one or the other. And that is pretty much the way I set the machine up, except for accept reject. I'll come out of the advanced settings, just back into normal settings. Usually when I'm hunting parks and you know, sort of more modern areas, I'll generally mask out, or sorry, remove the discrimination. I'll discriminate out everything up to about 15 or so. If it's an older site, I'll leave 15 and up enabled. If there's a lot of rubbish and it's only modern rubbish, then I will generally get rid of 15 and 16. I might leave 17 enabled. I'll probably leave 18 enabled, 19, 20. Sometimes it just depends on the site. I mean, sometimes I'll turn off, 20 as well. Might leave 21 and 22 on. Right, the rest of them I generally leave enabled or leave discrimination setting on there. But it all depends on where I am. Sometimes I'll get rid of 18 as well. If it's an old site, I might even leave 15 on, because that's a half sovereign. 18 is a full sovereign. If you think there's a chance there could be something like that there, you certainly want those on. But every site's different, and you can obviously adjust these as you go. At the beach, I'm probably more likely to have everything enabled from 2 up, because you just never know what you're going to be digging up at the beach. So that is about it. Hopefully you've got something out of that. It's different for everybody, and it all depends on the site that you're in as to what favors you and what gives you the best results. And it's a matter of continually changing as you learn more about the sites you hunt. As you learn more about your machine, you'll keep changing these settings until they work best for you. So thanks for watching the video. Good luck hunting, and I look forward to catching you in the future with more videos. Cheers, guys.